Right, this is just well, I thought I'd show my face, and this is just the video explaining how we can make 3D printed dentures for care homes. And yeah, I thought you'll get my voice, but you won't get my face anymore because it takes too long to edit on Zoom and all that kind of stuff. So hopefully you'll find this useful. So if you've downloaded the app, you'd see a bit that I was interested in, which is basically lots of dentures go missing. And as a dentist, they've been really difficult to make. So I think we can do them on a printer, a 3D printer. And having made or tried to make dentures for patients suffering with dementia, this has got to be a good way forward. Anyway, see what you think. Okay, well, this is primarily for VJ, so hope you watch this. And I'll redo it, don't worry. But this is the file that I'll show you how I did earlier. And it brings up this preform, which is the bit that's going to be really difficult for most people. It's using the software for making the dentures and putting them in the print and all that kind of stuff. So this is the software that is already loaded up on my computer. I don't remember doing it, but anyway, it's there. So I'll do this in one hit and just talk over it, but this is the software that you can download, and so just to make it easier for everybody, I start with a mistake. So where it says easy scan, if you can see the image in the center, that's blue, which means it's not doing anything. But if you look top right, you can see the image in the screen, and because it's actually vertical, you should realize that it's not the table mount. So yes, the other part there, now you can see it's gone green, which means it's recording. And yeah, we'll just be interested to see what happens in a moment, because that's when I twig I'm not doing the right thing. So with all this, just pause it. If I say something and you can't see what's going on, just pause it and rewind, and just go back and see where we were. Yeah, somewhere along this I will have added another video. So it looks like I've just realised I'm doing the wrong thing. Right, so anyway, you get this rebuilding thing. Now, I'll talk about that in a moment, because yesterday it took a long time, but that was more my fault. It's always my fault. Actually, the software is very good. But anyway, so it looks like I've done a handheld, so you see me delete that, and this is what we want to be on, is table scan. So I think I'll put the video of the setup right at the very end. So this is what happens, and the denture is one that you have to spray it. Well, you may not, but I think to get a good scan, you need to spray it with a powder, and I'll show you a picture of the powder at the end. So at the moment, what it's doing is it's going to start again. So that's right. The link would have said take the denture or the object off the table scan, and it kind of collaborates it, and then you put it back on, and now you can see it's starting to scan. So in the top right there, they've got two options. It's got geometry and texture, and the setting at the top button, you move it around a bit, so you want to see a little bit of red for some reason all over the image on the right, top right, and you can see that the denture sits within on the table, and it has to sit within that area, obviously, otherwise it won't scan the object that you want. The little purple bit, that always comes to 320, and then you get this showing rebuilding. So in geometry, whatever geometry is, it doesn't take too long. And initially I was trying to do this on my iPhone, but it just didn't work. And so I ended up buying a scanner. And it wasn't like the dental scanner I bought for 70 grand a long time ago. It was just a basic scanner. So anyway, so we've got it, just see me there, I moved it over to texture, so we're going to get a different scan, but I haven't actually moved the denture on the table. But you just have to play around with the brightness. And below that you can see the setting for sensitivity. So I'm still not sure about the sensitivity. One would think the higher the sensitivity, the more detail that you would get. But like I say, I did it last night, and it took me a long time. But I think that's because the cache was full, or it's certainly some part of the memory on my laptop was not helping the system, and it wasn't going as quick as this. So as you can see, it's in green, so it's doing what it's meant to do. When you press texture, the lights come on the scanner. So you get two different types of scans, and one is probably photography, I think. And anyway, it does the same. It gets to 320, and you'll see now, and this is when it gets awkward, is it starts rebuilding. So I'll do this all in real time. So this would be a lot quicker. Well, not a huge amount quicker, but it'd definitely be quicker if I hadn't clogged up my computer with a lot of video content. But anyway, you know, that's what I'm doing. It's all about creating a dental health service, and hopefully this will help fund it, because at the end of this we should be able to make an exact replica of the denture. So there we go again. Press append. Right now, when that was going round, I yeah, sorry, that was a mistake. I'll come back to that. Yeah, I'm trying to remember what the mistake was. Anyway, we're up and running. You can see I've turned it over. So when it was rebuilding, I turned it over. I can't quite remember what mistake was. But there we are. Anyway, we're on the green, so we're up and running. And I then had to play around with the brightness a little bit. Actually, no, I don't. It's the next one I play around with the brightness a bit. So this is still in texture. So basically when I do it, I start it, for whatever reason, in geometry, then put it on texture. Then when it's rebuilding, I turn the denture over. Then I still leave it on texture. As you can see, I didn't adjust the brightness. But in a moment, when it gets to 320, it'll start rebuilding, and that'll take just a little while, so I'll talk through that as we go along. I'm not quite sure what I'll say. Oh, I'll point out details on the screen that you can see. So, you know, the best thing you can always do is read the instructions, but I'm a bloke, and so I didn't really do that. But it does come with some really quite simple instructions, and if you follow them, it's reasonably straightforward. So on the left, where you can see the blue is, it says excellent, and that means that I've actually placed the object at the right distance. And this is 25 centimeters from the lens to the center of the table that rotates. You have to do a calibration on the table, and that's explained in the document that comes. And the scanner also comes with a USB with all the details on it. So you've got videos explaining what to do on that, which I looked at in the end. So yeah, so I've gone to press append again. I think this would be the last one, is it? Yeah, and then I've gone to geometry, press scan. So this will be the last scan, but you can see after this on the bottom right, you can see the scans there, and I'll end up with 5 because I aborted the third one because I did something wrong. I can't remember what I did now, but it definitely wasn't looking right. Anyway, so this will go along. And the green, as you can see. So those bottom right, that's where the scans, as it says, scans there, and that's what we need to use. And there is an automatic kind of system that it may well work. I think it worked once. I'm not quite sure how, but we'll go through the manual way of doing it as well, which is, you know, with all these things, if you're just doing a denture, just get a denture and trial and error when you're at home. But to be honest, it took me a while. Yeah, and like I say, on this one, you know, I've been playing around with the powder. The problem with the powder is when you turn the denture over, you put big thumbprints on it. So I've been using a tissue to move it round. Oops. Yeah. I'm on the phone. I'm talking to the computer. No, Ian, I'll ring you back. Yeah, interrupted there. Okay. Right, where are we? So it's rebuilding it. Right. So then you should have 4 scans. So you'll see me now. Yeah, I disconnected the scanner because it just makes a noise as it goes round. And I know the third one was rubbish. You can see there isn't much data on it. So the geo scans have a little bit less data than actually the ones that are done with the texture. So now we've got 4 scans. And what I'm going to do now is to process the scans. So yeah, you can change the colour that the scans come on the table, as you'll see in a minute. So I only know that because I kept pressing the wrong button and it would bring this up. So we've gone for a light blue there, and to see the scans you can just see where I press there. And then to align them, I've got to go up to the top right and press it onto manual rather than auto, and then I'll bring up the second scan. Right, so for me, to make the table bigger, I will get plenty of time with this. To make the table bigger, on my Mac, you press Command and the arrow forward or backwards. So it's always the same with these, when you play around with a mouse on a trackpad. It's just fiddling around with it. And the next bit, right, this took me forever to work out, because there aren't any instructions for a Mac, but there are very good instructions for a PC. And if you just type in Creality Lizard scanner, there's a chap on there who does really excellent webinars or excellent presentations on how to do it. So the bit here is what I'm trying to do, is you can just vaguely see I'm moving the colours so that you just see on the top right there, just below where it says manual, you see three colours: red, green and blue. And so what you want to do is to line up roughly the two scans. So don't worry, we'll get another one in a minute. And so once you've got them all set up, you press a line and off it goes, and it doesn't take long because that must have been quite good. So then what I do is I take off one of the scans, so that'll be the second one, and add the third one, as you can just see there. Then if I do it correctly, I'll press Control and make it a little bit bigger, as you can see there. And then I'll just move it around because it's a little bit easier. You'll see what I'm trying to do. You know, clearly I haven't been a gamer, because otherwise I'd have whished this around really quick. But what I'm trying to do is kind of get the alignment in that you can see this one has the teeth on top, whereas the first one is the base, and that's the way I've been doing it. It seems that if you do the base is probably most critical, really. Anyway, did you see me just click on the red, and then we go straight over to the other scan, and it's just moving the mouse with the trackpad, and it's a double click with my fingers. If only I could show you. Yeah, so it's on the trackpad, and you can just see there. So what I try to do is, for the green one, it's normally central lingual, and that's easy to pick out on both the upper and lower, scans. And then off we go, aligning again. The only interesting bit is, and you still cock it up, is, as you know, when you reverse it. Now I think I've got a problem there, so that's interesting. You just see that they don't seem to line up. Anyway, you just power on ahead, and yeah, so what I'm going to do now is just do exactly the same thing. I should really notice the problem. So anyway, Control, make it a bit bigger, spin it around, line up the side, so you're going for the red button. It's on red, go over it. Yeah, see, I just click at the back right. Then I'm trying to figure out which one it is. It's that one. The green's always really easy because that's the middle lingual. So I've only got a lower denture to practice on. If anyone's got any false teeth, pass them on to me. But it's going to be the same for an upper, okay? And I'm not too sure about partials at the moment. We'll have a go at that later. But this is just showing that we can actually do it. So press a line, off it goes again. When it's finished. Now that's remarkably quick, so I'm feeling quite positive now. So there we are. Press a line. It's going to bring them all up. I don't know if you necessarily have to do that, because it'll just come up to a stage where we do something different. You should be able to expand that. I haven't quite worked out how to do it. So I've gone straight on, and you press Process. So that was the top right. There's a little square thing there. You press Apply. Name the file. I think I named this Try E. In the past, I've named them with the different settings that I've actually used. So Try E25, and then it does this. It saves it. So again, I'm not 100% sure what's going on. It's a computer. I'm not that great. But actually, so what's happened now is it's asking to process the files that you've uploaded, and if you haven't got them all uploaded, then I'd go back. Although in some cases, if you've got a really dodgy scan, you get one scan that's poor. It seems that you can work without that, and it'll be interesting to know when we actually process these 3D prints if it works well. So as you can see, it's playing around, so it's going to take a little bit longer because it's got the 4 scans to work with. And I'd like to say I know what's going on, but clearly I don't. But anyway, the little lights are changing, so something's happening. And sometimes there's a bit of a delay. As I say, if there's a real big delay, then it's because you haven't got enough memory in your computer and you want to play around with the settings, and you probably need one of the children to help you on that. Anyway, so hopefully this will be fantastic. So listening with bated breath now to see what kind of image we get. Right. And apply. Press apply. And then look behind it. Oh God, yeah. So that didn't work, right? Oh, so I'm a bit disappointed about that, but then I thought, no, I've done it deliberately. I made a deliberate error just to show you. While I'm going round, you can see all these different tables on the left. I haven't even tried to use them on this image. I think what I'm trying to do now is, where I pressed Fusion, delete. Fusion is when it's done the processing. And now what I'm looking for is for the bad image. So I've been superimposing, and you just saw that last one. I press, you can see that doesn't look right. Okay, so take that out, it looks good. Press the one above it, still looks reasonable. Added the teeth now. So that doesn't look good. So what I did was I just deleted them all except leaving the initial table scan on, and then tried to realign them together again. So you can see I had to go back to table scan. It wasn't in edit mode, then it went to edit mode, then it brings up manual. So sometimes you have to sort of go back slightly, and there's probably a quicker way of doing it, but that's the way that I did it. And so there you can see somehow I cocked it up. But in this, when we get to this stage, it's lost the table. If you see, it's lost the table. And if anything, it's a little bit easier to manipulate the scan. So it is a lot easier than I'm making it look. I was just a bit dull and slow doing this. Anyway, so I'm thinking, what the hell am I doing? So I'm spinning it round again. I mean, this is better than any computer game. You know, this beats, what is it, Grand Theft Auto or something. It's just designing dentures. So again, we go over to the right, press the button. It's a double click. Using the mouse. When I first did it, I had a double click and my finger on another key, thinking that was the secret, but it wasn't. It was just a double click. As I said, if you've got a PC, the instructions are a lot better online than watching me. Right, so we're going to line this up again. So the blue one's the last one. Clicks on. Then press a line. Yeah, no, I'll be honest, this is like Blue Peter. I did this before, so I know it works. Okay, so that looks better. Right, so let's see what happens now. I mean, it looks a bit funny, right? But I know it's fine because I've done it before. So yeah, we've made sure that all the details I want. I'd lost the fusion. You probably saw there was an extra one when you processed it before, which says fusion, and clearly it wasn't right. So you go through the same process, and as I say, I haven't speeded this up, so this time it's gone really quick. So you'll be able to time how long it's actually taken. And like I say, I think you can get it marginally better. And also the spray that I did, it wasn't that critical. I've been playing around thinking the spray is really critical, and obviously you want to do as best you can, but this has been manhandled a couple of times, and it seems alright. So anyway, this should finish processing now. You can't move that other thing, but you can see, right, that it looks better already. Okay, so I'm really chuffed with that. But you can see there's a few little bits sticking out, which could be a problem for the person processing it. So all I've done is, you can just see top right there's some different buttons that you press. I can't remember what they say, but anyway, you can have a look. So process it again. So we'll do the same procedure again, and we'll see if it's any better. Okay, so that's it. Is that it? No, I didn't put all the buttons on. Yeah, it didn't do anything. And I took Fusion out. So that was the previous scan, because that'd mess it up. So we're still with the original 4 scans, as I've made the alignment better. And I've put on, I think it's called Repair. Oh, I can't read it from here, even though I've got these massive glasses on. But you can see I click the 4 buttons on the top right, so it processes it and does a little bit more features, I guess. And then, I know the scan's going to be okay. I only know because I did it before, right? So anyway, apply, and then so then that's it, and you press send, or save rather, and write the name in. So you know, you may want to put your patient's name in here, I guess, or their code or whatever it is, and we'll figure out a way that we can send it encryptedly. I'm not sure. You can just see. I'll probably make a mistake here. I'll probably go straight to save. But you need to save it as an STL file. I think these other names of files will work, but if you can just see in the middle there, it says save as a certain type of file. I think it was a bit slow because I was trying to write down the different measurements and the different parameters that were on it, and then I just gave up, I think. Yeah, and now I'm thinking, oh, well, I don't know where I've sent it. So just above there you'll see file, and it says export. So in this instance I'll remember to export it to the desktop. And that was the thing that you could see when the video first started, is the file that was on the desktop. Yeah, oops, I forgot. Take it to STL file, I've remembered now. Send it, and that'll go to my desktop. And that was the start of the movie. Well, I think that's what you call a bonus, because actually I didn't send it to my desktop. So I've gone back again, and I type in the name, and you'll see I actually pressed desktop before I put it on the STL file. There we are, I've remembered. Right, so I know what it is when I'm going to send, and clearly I've got to sort my folders out. I'm not brilliant on that. But I press send, and then we go. And so I'm just going to show a little bit of video of my setup as well, because it's as on the printed document that you get in. It's just, you just connect all the cables up. So there it is. It's just saving it as we did before. Do I want to leave? Yeah, but it is saved. It's saved somewhere, and one of them is on my desktop. That's right, and I tried to open it up straight away. Well, it didn't. You know, it just takes a little bit of time to download, and that's about it. So the next bit is just me going to show you the connection. So it's you need a laptop. There's my laptop, and it's in my shed, in my lab, and there's the table going around with the denture on it. As you can see, I've sprayed a powder on it, and that's the scanner, Clarity scanner, and there's some ones I made on the printer.